And I are going to Zion, going to Zion. If you follow politicians, you will never come at all. Never come at all. You will never come at all. And if you follow his religions, you will never come at all. We are going to Zion. By the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, and there we were, when we remember Zion. And the wicked carry us away, captivity, require from us a song. Oh, can we sing King Alpha's song in Australia? Shout it out, brothers and sisters! Shout it out, brothers and sisters! Well, let the words of our mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight. Turn it up, brothers! Turn it up, sisters! Join the chant of freedom! And say by the rivers of Babylon, hey, where we sat down, and there we were, when we remembered Zion. Turn it out now for your mothers and fathers. Shout it for peace in the world. Shout it for your ancestors.
Well, welcome to the theatre indeed, right? What a world we live in. I mean, honestly, I know I say this quite a lot, but where do you start? Honestly, someone let me know. The intro, yeah, Soylent Green, right? Set in 2022. I think that's the year that we're in at the moment. Who knows? The Twin Towers, of course. How could we forget? Let's never forget about the Twin Towers, about what they done, the deception that they have pulled. In my own opinion, David Rockefeller built the Twin Towers with taking them down as the purpose of building them. And the funny thing is, I don't even think it was David's idea. I think it might be planned. It might have been planned a lot longer than any of us could have imagined. That is my personal opinion on it. And if you've not watched the video that I done on David Rockefeller, you might want to check that out, and that might give you a better idea, right? Can we get a quick audio check before we get into it? Because we need the audio to be right. It is Friday, right? Is it? It's not quite the Friday fix, but it's yeah, a bit of a, I don't know. I was unsure what to call it. We're going to look into secret societies, connections here and there. We have got a movie to cover, kind of. I did watch it the other night. Clips from Bill Cooper. What other clips have I got? A sort of Freemason clip to begin with. So there's quite a lot. Honestly, I think I've got about 80 slides to try and show you. Oh man. So best grab a drink, right? Get the whiskey, get the pizza ordered, or make it if you're sensible. The audio's all good. Dave A in the hood, good man. Much appreciated. Justine as well, our good friend Justine. Anthony, Tony Soprano in the hood, good man, good to have you. Sounds all good. Patricia, there you go. Yeah, the UN. Where do you start with them? Another entity, another tool that gets used by the agenda. What have we got here? Spam. I hope not. That's all I need. Oh man, maybe someone can sort it out because I'm terrible. We shouldn't have any spam. We had an issue before. I don't know if you remember, but the chat got attacked by lots of bots. It was just out of the blue, so I don't know what that was about. I get it on Telegram. It's bloody annoying. Oh man, it really is. But we're going to get into secret societies today. Harmony Mummy, there you go, in the hood as well. Good to have you back again. Gary, good stuff in the hood. Yeah, Ukraine. We will mention Ukraine as well, of course. Zelensky. Oh man, it's so comical. Honestly, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? I mean, where do you start? The guy was an actor. Come on. What do people need to know? What more do you need to know about that guy? I think we've got a couple of clips, not clips, but a couple of slides in relation to the guy Zelensky. JP as well in the hood. Where are you? Gone. Region 10. There we go, JP. Back again. Good to have you. Who did I miss? Carmel. There you go. British B. Back again. Good to have you in the hood. Pramod. Is it Pramod? There you go. Audio's all right. Good man. Much appreciated. Who else did we get? I probably missed quite a lot of people, so I do apologise. Not here. Sorry, not really here. So hopefully they're they're still here to see it. Not really here. There you go. Yeah, the Truman Show. That's what we live in. That's what we live in. Honestly, it's a theater. You might have noticed in the intro that I had there, there's a stage in the background, and it's actually in Vladimir Putin's palace. It's from his palace. He's got a theater. It's all rather fitting, right? Of course, yeah. He would clearly like his acting. The guy Putin, the entity Putin. If you want to go with that, that's probably a better phrase to go with. Who else have we got? I'm on a different laptop, so good luck, right? I should be all right, but the camera's not as great. Where am I? I am here. Ta-da! in full bot form tonight. But we'll keep the camera off. Well, for the time being at least, right? Uh, Dead and Drummond, there you go. In the hood, back again. Good to have you. Anyway, Jojo Gizmo as well. Dave. Helena, there you go. Yeah, yeah, Putin. Yeah, puppets on a string. Putin and Zelensky. World Economic Forum. Lapdogs, if you can see it. Schwab, lapdog. I dread to think of what happened between that lot. Let's face it. You know, I kind of wonder about Putin. I've seen a few photos where it was Putin and Obama. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think Putin might be not straight, put it that way. That's the sort of feeling that I got from the clip that I seen and a few photos that I seen. We won't get into that today, but we might get into that in the future, to be honest. The one of him and Putin and Obama. Yeah, kind of makes you wonder. Anyway, let me quickly see if we can get started. There's a lot to get into. So, RMF as well in the hood. There you go. Yeah, Solotech in the hood. There you go. Patricia, Haley. There you go. In the hood. Back again. I'm not sure. I must have missed the the conversation there. My wife, I believe. Nope. Unless I've got two. There you go. My wife is called Lisa Ann, so you can get confused, right? I doubt my wife will be watching. She's got better things to do than listen to me, right? Beautiful name, Lisa Ann. It really is. In Wisconsin. Great stuff. Yeah, I'm here in little old Elgin in the northeast of Bonnie, Scotland. Draga knows Scotland quite well, I'd imagine. My brother, good to have you live and not complying tonight. So, yeah, I think where are we going to start? I think a good place to start is here with the Freemasons, right? The secret society. So let's see what we can get, and you'll have to bear with me. But even this image itself, the right angle, the G, the purple. Yeah, when I think of Freemasons, I kind of think of this image, to be honest, or an image similar to this, with the logo in a sort of purple background or purple cloth. When it comes to secret societies and Freemasons, it's basically look, hey, before I go on, I'm not an expert. Far from it. This is just my take, my opinion, right? An amateur, if that. But when it does come to these secret societies, uh, it's kind of like a tree, and it has different branches, but they're all batting for the same team, right? Some of the branches may fall out or get into each other's way, but in the end, they're all working for the same trunk, if you like, and that is the agenda to a T, and we see it right across the world, rolled out, no matter where it is, Scotland, Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, America, take your pick, right? Of course, all them countries have got Masonic roots as well. We'll touch on the Knights Templar. Do people know anything about these guys? we're going to look into them a wee bit. We've got a few bits to cover. I think Bill Cooper in the audio, well, some of the audio I've got of Bill, he mentions the Knights Templar, an ancient secret society that, of course, wouldn't be still on the go, right? Surely not. And yeah, the logo in the middle of this, the cross. Yeah, you can't miss that. You certainly can't miss that. So we'll keep an eye out for that as well. Possibly the numbers. We're going to get into lots, put it that way. But first of all, this lodge here. Now, what they claim is that this lodge is the first Masonic lodge in the world. If you type into Google the first Masonic lodge, it'll give you this, the Grand Lodge of England, I believe in London, with the pillars and the big purple curtain, right? So I'm going to show you a short clip to begin with. I think it's about 3 minutes. It's from the guy Robinson, and he's getting a sneak peek into the Masonic Hall, right? So we'll have a quick look at this video. Justine, great to have you back again. I accidentally put your comment up. There you go. You're famous now. We'll get into this guy here. You will notice in this slide that I've got, there's a star behind him. Before you even get in the door, they've got a star. That is one. It's everywhere when it comes to the Masonic Society, without a doubt. So let me see if I can get the video. Can I work it? That's the question. Yeah, I have got it. For a minute there. Oh, man. I'll blame the laptop, right? It's playing up. Yeah, here we go. So this is a short clip, and it's the guy Robinson at the what they call the first Masonic lodge in London, England. Here it goes.
That building is shrouded in mystery. I'm Tony Robinson, and I'm on the steps of the United Grand Lodge of England. I'm here because Ancestry has just published online 2 million historic Freemasons membership records, and I've been given exclusive access to this place. My job is to try to uncover some of the secrets behind this fascinating organisation, which, who knows, some of your ancestors may well have joined. Hi, James.
Hi, Tony. Welcome to Freemasons Hall.
James, are you giving me a secret handshake?
No, we do use handshakes and signs and passwords in our ceremonies, but we would never use them outside the lodge.
So there's the first myth examined. Didn't take long, did it? There is a secret handshake, but according to James, it's actually not really important. This really is a fantastic room, isn't it?
This is the Grand Temple of the United Grand Lodge of England, the oldest Grand Lodge in the world.
It must look really great when all the seats are full and that organ's playing. I know what people are going to want to know. Do you ever see celebrity faces here? Are there famous Masons?
Well, you're here.
I'm not a Mason, though.
Well, celebrity is completely unimportant in Masonry. Everybody is equal. But there have been famous people who've been Masons. Peter Sellers, Oscar Wilde, Winston Churchill.
James, come here a minute. Look at this throne. I'd need crampons to get up on this. Surely all this implies that you need to be of high status to be a Mason.
Well, this is definitely a throne. It was built for the Prince Regent, later George IV, as the first Royal Grand Master. But don't be misled. Any person of any race or profession or social status can become a Mason as long as they're male and over 21 years.
Well, that's certainly busted a myth, isn't it? It's great that they've got a museum here, but one of the artefacts is pretty special to you, isn't it?
Yes, this is one of the jewels worn by my grandfather, who was a Freemason in India, and was typical of the sort of jewels that Freemasons would get after they'd been master of a lodge.
And this is what I've picked out, a photo of a woman Mason.
Yes, this Grand Lodge, which was founded in 1717, has historically always been all male. But at the beginning of the 20th century, they started women's Grand Lodges, and indeed, many of the suffragettes were Freemasons.
Really? Now that's something I didn't know. So there you have it. There is a handshake, but it's not that secret. Masons come from all walks of life, including some women, and there have been lots of famous Masons, including Winston Churchill. It's a fascinating history, no longer behind closed doors.
So, yeah, a sneak peek into the Masonic Hall from Robinson, and I got that from Ancestry, the Ancestry.com YouTube channel. So, from what we've seen there, you'll notice the roof, again, the star, smack bang in the middle, right? It looks a bit like the North Star, big, huge, bright star in the night sky. The two Greek gods, Pythagoras and Euclid, we've touched on them before. They seem to have quite a strong connection with the secret society of the Freemasons, at least from what we can gather. The pillars, when you see them, it is a dead giveaway. I mean, that is the first thing you've kind of got to look out for is the pillars, right? A dead giveaway. The guy, his granddad, he was proudly showing his granddad's medal. The smug, yeah. Anyway, the medal itself, clearly, again, it's got the purple cloth, and this is an ancient medal, and I think it is purple that is around the crest as well. Although my eyesight's not that great, it's definitely a kind of purple. Someone mentioned, I noticed in the comments, giants. Now, hey, I would not rule that out. That crossed my mind as well. What these people seem to be masters at is hiding the truth from us. But what they claim is people at the top of these orders, they know the truth, so they can see it. It's clear to them. It's not clear to us. They're in the know, if you like. So I would not rule out that possibility. I mean, giants is mentioned in many, many things. We have touched on them before. The ancient Indian giants in Georgia, Jekyll Island, where the Rockefellers built their house, right on top of an altar where seemingly these ancient Indian giants sacrificed babies. That's what they said. That's what they concluded by the ancient artwork. And who else but one of the Rockefeller family? I mean, what kind of sick individual would you have to be? In fact, yeah, let's not go there. But the giant thing, it's not only by the big throne that kind of points to that, because the guy Albert Pike, Satanic as They Come, his book Morals and Dogma, there appears to be a altar, but it's gigantic, and there's clearly a wee guy. I think he's praying. he's praying up at the altar, and the altar's clearly it's for someone of a bigger size, right? Is that an indication to a race of giants that they know of, but we don't? I would not rule that out. I'm unsure, but I certainly wouldn't rule it out. And of course, on his book, let's get rid of me. On the book, the front cover, again, you've got the pillars, right? A dead giveaway. That's Morals and Dogma of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry by the satanic Albert Pike. As evil as they come, from what I can see. So, like I said, what they tell us is that this lodge here in England is the first Grand Lodge of Freemasonry, and it got established in 1717. Right, so I guess we take their word for it. But no, not from what I can see. Not from what many others can see. Even going by what the Freemasons themselves tell us. This here would appear to be the first Masonic lodge in the world. Do people know what this building is? I'd imagine people would, right? This building is indeed Solomon's Temple. Did anyone get it? And straight away, you can see the two pillars at the entrance. This is the first Masonic lodge, from what I can gather. Without a doubt about it, there is no two ways about it. It is not the Grand Lodge of England, far from it. Seemingly, the Ark of Covenant was kept at King Solomon's Temple, or Solomon's Temple. And people might, well, I'd imagine people will actually know a lot more about the Ark than me. I'm not the biggest on anything in terms of research, but the Bible, I know a wee bit. But seemingly the Ark was stored in the holiest of holies. The chest is made from a special wood and covered in gold. It is said to have been given to Moses by God. Inside were the 2 stone tablets on which Moses copied down the 10 Commandments. Yeah. So they copied it down. They made a copy of it. So I guess we take their word that it's exactly what it said, right? They translated it. But there you go. Yeah, interesting that. So seemingly that was the home of the Ark of Covenant, which is Solomon's Temple. Right, and we'll touch on that. We'll expand on that a wee bit more. Solomon's Temple, also known as the First Temple, was the first temple in Jerusalem according to the Hebrew Bible. It was built during Solomon's reign over the United Kingdom of Israel and was fully constructed by 957 BCE. So, anyone remember that? Frank might, right? He must be old enough to remember that. The amount of information that Frank knows. Oh, man. But anyway, it's quite old, going by what they tell us. And yeah, the United Kingdom of Israel. Interesting that. Excuse me. If we go to the Masonic Academy, let me grab a drink. Right. Let's put it to bed. The Masonic Academy, and it's telling us questions that you get asked when you're getting initiated into the secret society. It's a bit light. Let me see if I can read it. Oh man. Question 8. How stand your lodge? Question mark. Answer: east and west as the Temple of Jerusalem. Right. Question 9. Where was the first lodge? Question mark. Answer: in the porch of Solomon's temple. Yeah, I think that pretty much confirms that Solomon's temple would appear to be the first Masonic lodge, even going by the Masonic Academy. These are questions which relate to the admission of an entered apprentice and therefore show that KST is so important that it is one of the first things a new candidate is taught. The fact that it's mentioned twice demonstrates that it's central to the lure of the craft. Additionally, these two questions and their accompanying responses tell us something more. Seemingly what they reckon is that what the answer would be to question 8 is simply east and west. And to question 9, all they would answer is in the porch. But by that they're referring to the porch of Solomon's temple. In my opinion, it's undeniable, even going by the structure of the temple and the people that seemingly King Solomon was, the sort of person that he was, king that he was. Here's the three kings here. The three stooges, right? The three wise men. This is quite an old artist's impression of inside the temple. You can see you can clearly get an idea of the layout. You've got a Masonic checkered floor, black and white checkered floor. You've got these candlesticks. You've got 3 of them in this. They kind of remind me of an Olympic torch. We might touch on that again towards the end, whenever the end's going to be. And some kind of sphinx. Are we going to say sphinx or phoenix? 2 of them at the back. Very common in a lot of Masonic lodges. I think the Grand Museum or Lodge in Washington, they have similar outside. Many of them do. We might get into that as well. And the arches at the back, you'll find them quite a lot, to be fair. Probably a dead giveaway. So the guy Solomon, let's expand on him a wee bit. We'll go back to an article here from, I think it came out in 2021. Was King Solomon the ancient world's first shipping magnate? Yeah. Marine archaeologist unearths evidence suggesting biblical king's riches were based on voyages he funded with physician allies. Right, so the Phoenicians, we'll go with that. Phoenicians, I think it's how it's pronounced. We will expand on them for sure. Now, British marine archaeologist Sean Kingsley has amassed evidence showing that Solomon was not only a flesh and blood monarch, but also the world's first shipping magnate, who funded voyages carried out by the Phoenician allies in, quote, history's first special relationship. Yeah, interesting one, that. So he sounds like he kind of ran the show when it came to trade or anything that made money. I'd imagine if you ran the shipping trade then, you certainly pretty much ran the show. And it would be hard to lose that sort of power, I would imagine. So that's what sort of guy, seemingly, King Solomon was. Now, do we know what this is? I think I was meant to move this slide. I think we might come back to this one. Fuck it, we'll cover it now. It might be in the wrong place. Do we know what this is? Let me see. Does anyone know? I see we've got a problem with a spam bot. Oh man. I'm unsure how that happens because I think I've blocked them now, but it's a bloody nightmare. It's so annoying. I think this is meant to be, is it Sumerian? Ananuki? Am I saying that right? Assyrian? Yeah. Yeah, you could maybe say that. Carmel. I think what they go with is Sumerian scriptures or drawings, writings. And if you look in the guy's hand, that's what took my interest from this photo. It's like a mast, right? Does it look familiar to anyone? Does the mast in his hand look familiar? It's like I'm saying mast, like a walking stick. Yeah, his legs exposed. Is that them telling us that they knew all about the medical side of the human body? How it worked, how to fix it, how to sort anything, a broken leg. Yeah. But it was the mast in his left hand that caught my eye, excuse me. So yeah, it kind of looks like a sphere, but I'm going to go with mast. And the reason I'm going with that is because of this image here. Now, this is seemingly a painting of King Solomon, the man himself. And I don't know about you, but that kind of looks like the same mast, right? It looks very similar, at least, in my opinion. Now, this painting's that old that seemingly they don't know who done it. They will know who done it. They just won't be telling us. It'll likely be someone famous who was secretly in the society, like a double agent. They have them as well. They have men of many, many faces, and that would be an understatement. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, that's the same. And as far as I know, this is the Anaku, Sumerian, which I don't know very much about, if I'm honest. A wee bit. I remember hearing about them on a good few years ago now. On the Ancient Aliens series. I'm sure they talk about them. I think we'll go with Anunnaki. But I think Anunnaki and Sumerian, right? I think that's what they go with. Yeah, seriously, bought issues tonight. I can't work that one out. I thought I'd sorted it out. There you go. The show must go on, right? I see my good friend Justine is on the ball. So I thought I'd point that out tonight because a lot of the time we kind of think, how far back does it go? And to be honest, I think it goes all the way back to the beginning. And I think, from what I can gather, the same entities then who ran the show then, they still run it today. And they've got many ways to deceive us, but a lot of things stay the same. And if you know where to look, you'll notice it. I think in his pocket as well. Is it his pocket? Can we go with that? On his arm, it looks like or maybe his belt. I actually think that could be a Masonic compass. I don't know if you can see it very well. There appears to be 3 tools. I think one of them could be the compass. The other 2 possibly. Is it a tool? I could be wrong, but I think it might be. I think it could be a Masonic compass in his pocket or in his belt. I mean, if it is that, then yeah, that would add to the mast in his hand because it would appear to be the same as further on down the line, King Solomon. You can see the star at the very bottom. I mean, that's a satanic star, right? Even I know that. That is most certainly a satanic star. It's the symbol of Satan himself, from what I can gather. And would you Adam and Eve it? Look where I seen. Look who had a similar mast for show. The guy Zelensky. Yeah, and the big book beside him, right? Standing kinda at the altar with the pyramids at the back. I think in the Ukrainian parliament. I mean, the necklace that he has, we'll go with that, a necklace. I don't think you can get any more Masonic than that, to be honest. But the mast again, that certainly looks like the one that King Solomon's got. And kind of like that one from the Anunnaki, if I'm saying it right. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's quite distinguishable. So yeah, the guy Zelensky, right? This image here, seemingly, we'll get back to Zelensky, in fact, in a bit. This this is no, it's not a fancy dress, a stag do. Man, you'd think it probably was a stag do, right? That's seemingly an image from the very first, what they claim, the first lodge in London. Yeah, all very strangely dressed, to say the least, right? I think at the very front, they're dressed as the Phoenicians. And then I think you've got knights, and then also some kind of bishops, maybe. Archbishop, royalty, maybe the Pope at the back. Because that's the kind of people that you'll find connected to the secret societies, without a doubt. Does anyone know? We've mentioned them briefly already. Does anyone know who these guys are? These are the Phoenicians. And they're not from yesterday, put it that way. But you'll see the guy's hand. I cropped and zoomed in. It's either a Masonic compass or some form of right angle. I think the compass, in my opinion, you've got the wings at the top with the sun. Is I think a pillar in the middle. Yeah. These are the Phoenicians, right? And in my opinion, at least by the looks of it, the Masonic entities go back to even as far as these guys. From what I can see, this is the Phoenicians again. And they've got 3 people. Another Sphinx down by the guy that's sitting down, the Grand Master, I'd imagine, sitting on the throne. He's got the Sphinx at his side, possibly a rose in his hand, and I'm unsure of what's in his other hand. You've got the altar in the middle, and then you've got the entered apprentice who's got the blindfold and the mast in his hand, similar to the mast, probably, that Zelensky had. Then you've got the guy behind him. And from what I can gather, that's how it would work in a Masonic lodge as well. With the Grand Master and the entered apprentice, and then another guy, a captain or whatever it would be. So there's that's quite a strong connection, that. The blindfold, right? Who were the Phoenicians? This is from History Today. An authoritative and engaging new study questions whether this Eastern Mediterranean culture had a homogeneous language or cultural heritage. Yeah. Did they make it up or did they inherit? Because most people know the Phoenicians for being the people who created the alphabet, right? I think that's what most people will know them for. The code that they created is what created every alphabet, from what I can see at least. So sticking with History Today, let me get a drink. We've got a lot to cover. The people known to history as the Phoenicians occupied a narrow tract of land along the coast of modern Syria, Lebanon, and northern Israel. They are famed for their commercial and maritime prowess and are recognized as having established harbors, trading posts, and settlements throughout the Mediterranean basin. However, the Phoenicians' lack of recognizable territory, homogenesis, is it genus? I can never say that, language or shared culture heritage means that, despite being one of the most influential Mediterranean peoples of the first millennium BC, their identity has long remained shrouded in mystery. Shrouded in mystery. All very fitting, that, right? Sounds familiar as well. Let's jump to this article here from Britannica.com, encyclopedia, the go-to for all you need to know. Let me check, we're still going. Yeah, we're rolling. We're still rolling. So, Phoenician alphabet writing system that developed out of the North Semitic alphabet and was spread over the Mediterranean area by Phoenician traders. It is the probable ancestor of the Greek alphabet and hence all of Western alphabets. So yeah, pretty much kick-started it. Got it going. So we know who to blame, right? We know who to blame, after all, for giving us the bloody alphabet. About 800 BC, the Phoenicians lived on the shores of the eastern Mediterranean. Their major cities were Tyre and Babylos, and they were merchants and sailors. They travelled all over the Mediterranean and Black Sea, all over, establishing trading outposts and cities that bought goods and raw materials from local people and sold luxuries like ivory and purple cloth. Huh. The purple cloth was their greatest luxury. Right. No one else in the world knew the secret of making purple dye, and kings alone could wear the colour because the Phoenicians made it so expensive. This was the origin of their name, quote, Phoenix. Are we going with Phoenix? Let's go with that. In Greek means scarlet or dark red, and was named after the famous dyes. The Phoenicians themselves had no real name. And because their writings are not common, the Greek name has stuck. So, the purple dye, the purple cloth, it's back again. So is that where the Masonic purple cloth stems from? Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out. I think that could be exactly where it comes from. And these people never had a name. Ain't that interesting? They never had a name. Shrouded in mystery, these Phoenicians, who clearly ruled the world. They controlled it all, the trade. They clearly had the royalty in their back pocket. They ran the show by the looks of it. Phoenicians had many gods and goddesses called Balu and Balet. We'll go with that. Yeah, many gods and goddesses. Again, that sounds familiar. Balu, which is Lord or Master, which is for men, or Balet, which is Lady or Mistress for women. Yeah. They all worshipped the same major gods, but they may have different names in different cities. The temples were filled with priests, singers, musicians, divers, scribes. Their sacrifices included fruits, oil, herbs, but also animals were sacrificed, of course. Yeah. From these things, a variety of dishes were created for the gods. Two of the gods they worshipped were named Balu Hadu, who was seemingly the Lord of Thunder, and Aftartu. We'll go with that. So yeah. So that Balu, which is master, which of course the Masons like to use as well, among others, I may add. The Phoenicians emerged around 1200 BC, when many other empires were being attacked by barbarians. They were able to become successful during the 400 years of dark ages that followed. Instead of creating an empire of land, these traders formed many trade links from a few independent cities on the coast of what is now Lebanon. Yeah, so they weren't interested in becoming a nation. Yeah. More interested in pulling the strings of nations, I'd imagine. They originally only traded with Egypt and Palestine because the Minoan people controlled the trade with Greece. However, once the Minoans were destroyed in the disaster of 1200 BC, the Phoenicians were able to expand their trade. Yeah. The Phoenician homeland was in the center of the ancient world, so they could trade with Egypt, Greece, and the Middle East. Yeah. So they established all these links across the world and clearly had a lot of control, without a doubt, and expanded after the Minoans were destroyed in the disaster of 1200 BC. Yeah, we might expand on that. By the end of the Dark Ages in 900 BC, the Phoenicians were very rich. This made them targets, especially by the Assyrian people. As they were attacked, they gradually established more colonies to the west, away from the plundering Assyrians. The most powerful of these colonies, became Carthage, and an empire in its own right once the Phoenician cities fell in this period. From then on, they were never as independent, being owned by Assyrians, Babylonians even, and Persians until Alexander the Great conquered them in 332 BC, ending their independence forever. And that was it. So I take it that was the end then for the Phoenicians. Or was it? I kind of wonder. Was it a great reset? Is that what happened? You know, I kind of thought earlier on, if you wanted to control history, it might be a good idea to write yourself out of it. Possibly. And pull the strings from, if you like, in the shadows, whereby the people of today don't even know that you exist. What is it they say about the devil? What is it they say that his biggest trick? His biggest trick was to convince the people that he didn't exist. Yeah, I thought about that today. So it would appear they got conquered. It ended. Just like, I guess, is it Minoan people? Who by the sounds of it, by what they tell us, were destroyed in the late Bronze Age collapse. So the Bronze Age, what they're saying is the Bronze Age collapsed, right? After a catalogue of sequenced events, by the looks of it. It all sounds rather very familiar. Do you not think? What is it they say? There's nothing new under the sun. I always remember that quote. And this one here, I mean, you could not make it up, right? 1200 BC war. So 1200 BC war. climate change and cultural catastrophe. Oh man. You'd think I was making this up, right? So this is an article on the collapse of the Iron Age from 1200 BC. And it was climate change, right? Climate change, didn't it? And cultural catastrophe. Does it sound familiar? I bet it does. Anyway, I did have a quick look at this PDF. War, climate change, and cultural catastrophe. That's what knocked it on the head for the Bronze Age. It was finished. A great reset. What came then? I think the Roman Empire. "1200 BC stands as one of those symbolic dates in human civilization." Yeah, I'm sure most people remember it, right? To be honest, I don't think I had ever heard of it until the other day. I can't recall ever hearing about it. Let me know if you heard about it or got taught about the collapse of the Iron Age at school. Maybe I did, and I just can't remember. I can remember getting taught about the Romans, the Jacobites. That's about it. I can't remember very much from school, to be honest. Yeah. So it's a symbolic date, seemingly. That's what they tell us. It's symbolic for the collapse of, I guess, civilization then. Its significance lies in its association with a period of momentous change, a period of catastrophic destruction and uncertainty for the people of the time. We, with the benefit of hindsight, can see it as a prelude to the archetypal dark age that separates the splendorous of the Eastern Mediterranean Bronze Age from the glories of the classical Greece and Rome. Yes, so it was a shift into the Greece and Rome, the Roman Age, from the Bronze Age, after a total catastrophic collapse in society. Oh dear. Is it just me? Or does it sound a wee bit familiar? Now, in terms of the Phoenicians, I genuinely think there's no doubt that the Masonic connection is undeniable. And I also found this article here from the Museum of Freemasonry. Who'd have thought that would have existed, right? But there you go. The Museum of Freemasonry. Yeah. If you notice the logo, actually, it's kind of like a square in a square in a circle, if you like. As far as I can gather, that is a Masonic logo. So it's worth noting, worth keeping an eye out for. It's a Masonic logo, right? And I mean the fact that it's being used by the Museum of Masonry, that pretty much tells us that it is. Anyway, this Freemasons Chronicle, it got written in seemingly October the 22nd, 1887. I'm not going to cover it all, but I will point out this. And it's talking about Solomon's Temple. King Solomon, right? The magnate, the shipping celebrity, the guy of the time, right? You can imagine him. He'd have been like a celebrity. Now, who were these foreign craftsmen? They were Phoenicians. And who were the Phoenicians? They were, according to Sir William Betham and other scholars, quote, the shrewdest and most acute of mankind, skilled in science, literature, and art, close quotes. The inventors of the alphabet, of the art of navigation, and of the science of astronomy. Pompeius relates that Phoenician navigators sailed the fleets of Solomon to Ophir. We'll go with Ophir, which is seemingly Arabia and Spain, even. Italy was their first great colony, their monuments being found today in Etruria, and they sailed the seas over, settled Cyprus, Sicily, and Sardinia, penetrated to all the coasts of the Mediterranean, I think. Yeah. Found Eutia and Carthage in Africa, and Cadiz in Spain, passed beyond the Pillars of Hercules and Gibraltar, and colonized Great Britain and Ireland. As builders, they were famous for their Cyclopean architecture, of which there are remains in Etruria and elsewhere. This was the character of the foundation of Solomon's Temple. Quote, the foundation was of costly stones, even great stones, stones of 10 cubits, which is 15 feet, of course, and 8 cubits, close quote, which is 12 feet. King Harman's Cyclopean builders laid those foundations. So this is from the Masonic Chronicle in 1887. 100 years, almost exactly, before I was born. Yeah. So they clearly have linked the Phoenicians with the Masons of today. And I don't think there's any doubt about it. In my opinion, there's no doubt about it. I don't think they want people to know that, but I think there's that much information out there now. We do know, but of course, if you go to Google, it'll tell you that Freemasonry started in England in 1717, and that was when the first lodge got built. But hopefully, hopefully, from what I've showed you, you might see why I'm thinking that actually it's Solomon's Temple. Now, we're going to jump from Solomon's Temple, sticking Masonic-wise. We're going to jump to the Knights Templar. These guys, right? And it's going to feel like a wee bit like deja vu maybe sometimes. But we're going to have a look at these guys. And again, we've got the cross, of course. Yeah. That is, I think, one of the most famous Knights Templar logos that you're going to find. And I would assume this is from a Knights Templar lodge. What I might do now is play the clip from Bill Cooper. Yeah. I'm going to play a clip. It's about 3 minutes long. It's from a Bill Cooper Hour of the Time. We've went just over an hour in 10 minutes. We could be about another hour. Oh man. So you're gonna have to bear with me. You're gonna have to sit tight, right? We're gonna get it. We're gonna get there in the end. But there is a lot to cover. Hopefully it's been quite informative so far. It took me about 2 hours to put the slides together, but even then, oh man, I thought, right, I'm just going to have to go with it because I didn't want to be too late. I was already 15 minutes late. So I do apologize. But, I mean, this series that I'm doing, the New War Order, it's going to be a continuation. So it's not going to run away. We're going to continue to get into the likes of Russia, the Ukraine, the current war situation, more on the origins of the two nations, and I guess more on secret societies because they will be there. I wish they weren't, but they bloody will be. This is an image of the Knights Templars getting burnt at the stake. Yeah, seemingly that's what happened to the Knights Templar. They got well and truly sorted out. So they wouldn't be about today, right? Surely not. I mean, they got burnt at the stake. They're gone. Don't hold your breath. So let's jump to the Bill Cooper clip for the time being. Let me see. We're still going. Great stuff. Thank you, Justine, for looking after the chat. Yeah, Friday the 13th, right? Did we mention that is mentioned in the slides? Maybe it's been mentioned already, but it is mentioned. It is a date they truly love. There's quite a lot of dates that they love. We will get into more of that in the future. We've even got today a bit of gematria. Would you Adam and Eve it? And it's quite interesting. Yeah. I don't know if interesting is the right word. But if you're still here when we get round to that, then you might understand what I'm saying. So we're going to look at a clip now. We're going to listen to it at least from Bill Cooper. Yeah, I don't agree with everything that Bill said, but when it comes to secret societies, Bill nailed it. Fucking hell, every time. Every time he nailed it. Honestly, no wonder they took him out. I can see why. I shouldn't laugh, but this is what they do. If you cross the line, they will take you out. They won't let you continue. They'll take you out in an instant. That's the way it works, unfortunately. So, yeah, if you cross the line, you'll be finished. A wee bit like Bill Cooper, at least from what I can gather. So, yeah, Mad Fox, late press ups for Mad Fox. Our brother Frank in the hood, Cariel as well. Good to have you both back again. Fantastic. Draga, Anthony Bry, Square and Compass, yeah, exactly. In the square, in the circle. Bang on the money. Good to have you back again. Lots of good comments. Fantastic. Someone's only here for the accent. Hopefully you can learn a wee bit then. Nothing, to be honest. Learn not how to be stupid. At least that'll be learning something, right? Cataclysm, yeah. I think we're heading that way today. Robert Sphere, yeah, I've watched quite a bit of Robert's stuff actually. He does quite good stuff on historical stuff. If it's the right guy. I think we've mentioned him before. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, much appreciated to everyone in the chat. We're going to get round to the audio now. let me go to the bottom. Frank in the hood. Are we on about the Solomon's Temple? In my opinion, that is the first temple, from what I can gather. Again, I'm not an expert, right? But you might see what I'm getting to. So let me see. Let's get rid of that. We'll jump back to that in a sec, but let me find the video. And I'll quickly make a drink as well while it's playing. Where is it? What one is it? I have to make sure I've got the right one, right? Oh, man. Played the wrong clip. He said it was Bill Cooper. It was an outro or an intro. He's away making a coffee and he doesn't even know. And there you go. That won't be happening. Because, yeah, I've got it. So this is a clip from a Bill Cooper Hour of the Time, 1997. The late Bill Cooper murdered by the CIA. From what I can see, it was the CIA disguised, or the FBI disguised as teenagers. So they tricked Bill into thinking they were just a bunch of pesky teenagers. And I think maybe on the realization that they weren't, and a wee bit more than that, Bill reacted and shot the guy. But I'm unsure if he actually did. I'm going to look into it a bit more. But from what I can see, whatever happened, they killed Bill. And they went there. They never even told the police department of the state that they were going. It was all a bit suspicious. We will get into that in the future, but not so much today. So, this is Bill Cooper, 1997, and he's talking about secret societies. Then we'll go back to the slides. We'll listen to Bill again in regards to, I guess, World War III. And then we're going to touch on a movie, right? The Red Dawn. And then, yeah, we're still not done. And then I'm hoping, if we've got time and energy, we might have a look at the Olympic ceremony from the Winter Olympics. There's a few bits I want to show you from that. You'd think I was making it up, but I'm not. So, without further ado, here it goes.
Controlled by the secret societies. And this is from Secret Agenda by Jim Hoogan, Random House, copyright 1984. And this appears on page 48 and 49. I'm going to read it to you verbatim. And it's, quote, "My source said that the notes had been written by analysts assigned to the CIA's Office of Medical Services and Office of Security. Their concern, indeed, what seems to have been their panic, stems from the fact that Fitzgerald, the talented author of Fire in the Lake, was the daughter of the late Desmond Fitzgerald, a former deputy director of the Central Intelligence Agency. Indeed, Des Fitzgerald was a legendary figure within the agency and one of the original Knights Templar." End quote. It goes on to talk about him, and then there's footnotes about the Knights Templar they were the CIA officers who were close to William Donovan. And William Donovan, when he created the OSS, which was the forerunner to the Central Intelligence Agency, and of course all this was carried into the new agencies when they were created, surrounded himself, would only take in those members of a secret society known as the Knights Templar. That's well known amongst researchers who research the OSS, the Central Intelligence Agency, the Office of Naval Intelligence, and others. And, of course, the American public really doesn't know anything about this kind of stuff. When I made that allegation years ago, after having been a member of the Office of Naval Intelligence and revealing the way that I was selected for the Office of Naval Intelligence, and that there was no one, and I mean absolutely no one, who was in the Office of Naval Intelligence or the intelligence community that I knew of at the time that I was attached to the Office of Naval Intelligence, who was not a highly degreed Freemason, a member of the Rosa Cruci, the Knights Templar, and many others. There were also a lot of people heavily recruited from Brigham Young University, which is a Mormon university in the state of Utah. And when I asked about this, they told me that the Mormons were very good at keeping secrets and were well disciplined and would never question their orders. I don't know how true that is, folks, but I do know that the intelligence community has been from its very beginning, controlled by these secret societies, fraternal organizations, and in particular, the Knights Templar. If you don't believe that, I just gave you one source. There are a lot of other sources that I've given you in the past which confirm that. Everybody who's investigated the OSS and Wild Bill Donovan, who is the old man, the senior person within the intelligence community, of course he's gone now, but he's the one who set it all up. He's the one that made it work in the modern era anyway. And he began the whole thing by recruiting only those Knights Templars and surrounding himself with Knights Templars. The strange thing about it is that he himself was a Catholic, and the Knights Templars have sworn revenge against the Vatican, the Catholic Church, because the Pope and the King of France way back in 1307 moved against the Templars and literally destroyed their order in France and forced them to go underground in Europe and in the other places of the world where they existed. And then they became an extremely subversive group existing within the framework and the fabric of the other so-called fraternal orders, the mystery schools, and the secret societies ever since. So there you have that for whatever it's worth, and it's only worth it to, if you're trying to find out what's really going on and who's doing it and why and what it means, and or if you're just researching these subjects, or if you just have an interest in it. I've had a lot of letters from people telling me that they don't want to hear this kind of stuff because it doesn't mean anything. Those are sheeple talking when I hear that. Well, I guess everybody has recovered sufficiently from the conference, those who attended, and should
So, a wee bit of Bill Cooper, right? There's not many better at discussing secret societies than Bill Cooper. In that episode, it was about fluoride. And Bill had mentioned that people had been warning about fluoride in the water and the food since even before Bill was fucking born. And originally they said, yeah, well, it's fine. It's all right. Fluoride's all right. You can put it in the water. You can put it in toothpaste. You can put it in kids' toothpaste. And then it came out where they said, yeah, well, actually, it's poison. It's poisonous. So what you're going to have to do is spit it out. You brush your teeth. It's all right. It won't kill you. But you brush your teeth and you spit it out. What about the kids? Yeah, they'll be all right. Tell them to spit it out. Of course, what do children tend to do unsupervised when they're brushing their teeth? They won't spit it out, will they? So they're ingesting the fluoride, which is poison, in the toothpaste and in the bloody water. Yeah, but it's good for your teeth. Yeah, but it'll damage your bloody brain. You still have good teeth, right? Oh, me. We can't win. We really can't. But I would advise people to check out that episode of Bill Cooper discussing the fluoride. It is worth checking out. Bill was he claims that he wasn't a active member I can't remember the lodge. They tried to get him to join, but seemingly they did try and get him to join a lodge. We can touch on that in the future as well. A lot of people think that Bill was an all-out shill. I'm not so sure myself. I don't agree with everything that he said, and he kind of. I'm unsure as to why, but he had faith in the Constitution. He had faith in being able to change the political landscape, the political agenda by voting. I'm sorry, Bill, but you were barking up the wrong tree there, mate. You really were. And on the chemtrails, you got that one wrong, I'm afraid. I think you would agree, wherever he may be in this world at this time. But he did claim that the chemtrail stuff was nonsense. It was a conspiracy theory. It's not. Speaking of chemtrails, actually, I noticed on the movie Red Dawn that we're going to touch on, I never got a screen grab, but twice in that movie, I noticed the chemtrails, and that was made in 1984. So yeah, I think for decades now. Yeah, talk about stuff in the water. What about the stuff in the sky? Yeah, where do you start with that one, right? Anyway, let's jump back quickly before we get carried away because of the fluoride. I shouldn't laugh. Of course, it was the Knights Templar that Bill was on about. Quite funny as well, because Bill, he basically said, well, it's confusing because seemingly the Catholics hated them, or they hated the Catholics, and there was a bit of confusion there. Yeah, of course there is. Right? Because all would most certainly be not as it appears. You can be guaranteed of that. Any official narrative we get is not going to be the true narrative, put it that way. And seemingly they got burnt at the stake, these guys, the Knights Templar. But yet there they were working for the bloody CIA and the FBI. So, yeah, a bit confusing that one as well, right? I thought these guys were gone. Some in the powerful medieval order were greased up and roasted until they admitted their perversions like sodomy, cat worshipping, and navel kissing. Yikes. I hope no one's eating, right? I mean, what the... Honestly. Oh, man. Of course, that would have been them in their lodges, right? That'll be happening today, of course. The cat worshipping, the sodomy, and fucking, I would not be surprised if the navel kissing as well at these rituals, initiations, ceremonies. Because they're certainly still going on today. The Knights Templar were revered throughout medieval Europe as the fiercest, wealthiest, and most powerful military order of the era. Wealthiest, most powerful military. So how were they obliterated with such devastating swiftness? Yeah. Good bloody question. Or is it simply that they weren't obliterated at all? And they rewrit themselves out of history. Yeah, a bit like the Phoenicians, right? Who got destroyed. Yeah. King Philip of France began his campaign to quash the Templars on September 14th, 1307, when he sent sealed orders to his officers across the kingdom with instructions that they not be opened until the night of October 12th. The king had good reason for secrecy. His plan to arrest every Templar in France would have been unthinkable even a few years earlier. So they were to open them on the night of the 12th. So when did they commit their atrocity? Of course, like the date Draga mentioned, it would have been October the 13th. Friday, October the 13th. At least that's what they tell us. Yeah. Yeah. The Templars were now fair game, and their arrests carried out on the morning of Friday, October 13th, launched one of the bloodiest and most brutal episodes in church history. Yeah. Interesting one, that. So they got obliterated, right? Hard to kind of work out how they're still here today then, if they got obliterated. Yeah. While they were often referred to as the Knights Templar, only a minority of the group's members were actually knights. Others were, yep, priests and, quote, serving brethren, close quote, who came to hold a wide range of jobs. Yeah, I bet they did. By 1300, many were essentially bankers. How very fitting indeed. In London, for example, the group, quote, operated a system of national and international credit and finance, close quote. How very fitting indeed. Yeah. So they all became bankers then. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah, it certainly would. So seemingly they tortured the Knights Templar at the stake. It wasn't even to get the truth; it was just to hear them. Even if they hadn't, they wanted them to say it. They wanted them to confess, and among the charges, the Templars were expected to confess to renouncing Christ and spitting on the cross. Yeah. Sounds a bit like a Masonic ritual. That's what they do, right? I'm sure there's one where they either spit on the cross or spit on the Bible. I could be wrong, but I think there is. Anyway, here's another painting here of the Knights Templar getting burnt at the stake. Now you can see that you can clearly see the cross on the Knights Templar. But if you look at the king that's killing them, the executioner, if you like, I only noticed this today. Does anyone? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. He's got the mast in his hand, right? The stick, the walking stick. What about the crest on the guy's gown? What does that look like? Does anyone want to have a go? It's a kind of golden crest on the yellow gown. It reminded me of a crest that's been seen a lot at the moment. It was maybe just me, but it reminded me of the Ukraine badge or crest. UFO. One of them does look a wee bit like a UFO. And a number 9, yeah, maybe. Although my eyesight's not that great. But there is one of them symbols on the gown that I thought looked a bit like the Ukrainian logo, which is certainly a Masonic logo. No two ways about it. We're not getting too much into Ukraine today, but possibly next week or the week after, we're going to get more into Ukraine and Zelensky. Now, I want you for a moment to remember that cross, right? Let's quickly go back. Forget the guy in the gown. The Knights Templar cross. I mean, it's renowned, right? You see it as the cross like that, or you'll see it as the cross with either a rose or a circle in the middle. Usually it's a rose, which of course has a meaning, a connection, right? So let's jump to not that long ago. I can't remember the exact date, but it's Vladimir Putin. And he's in I think it's the House, I guess the Russian Houses of Parliament, or the Russian White House, if you like. Here's Putin getting ready, getting his coat on to do his crip walk to the podium, to the altar, I guess. Even the office he's in, thinking back to Solomon's Temple and the Masonic lodges, the Grand Lodge, the design of this one, all very, very similar indeed. Very, very similar. The pillars, the arches, yeah, it all sort of looks the same. So Putin heads off out. You might not be able to see it. It's right in the top left-hand corner. Oh, what have I done? I went too far. I've zoomed in and cropped it out. But on each side of the big golden arch doors, you've got the pillars. You can clearly see the 2 pillars, right? At each side. But up in the top corner, you've got the cross. It is without a doubt a cross, in almost a carbon copy of the Knights Templar cross. I mean, it's identical, and it's on both sides of this building next to the pillars, not only on the wall, but on the chandelier. Even the chandelier has got it, and I zoomed in and cropped it out, so hopefully you can see that a wee bit better. In relation to the cross, you've got the Knights Templar and the Rose Cross. You've also got the cross, which represents the Order of the Golden Dawn. And the cross above that is the Rosicrucian cross. And we will touch on them as well. Yeah. So in the Order of Golden Dawn, it's kind of like a rainbow-coloured cross. The one at the top is a bit more like the Knights Templar cross, the Rosicrucian. But I think you've got roses behind it as well. As far as I can see, the Order of the Golden Dawn is the secret society that Aleister Crowley had joined. That's the one he was a member of. The double agent Crowley, a bit like Putin. As far as I can see, he's a KGB double agent. Yeah. So that's the Order of the Golden Dawn and the Rosicrucian. The Rosicrucian connection, they don't even hide it. This is the famous painting in terms of Masonic, Eastern Russian Masonic societies. And again, at the door, you can clearly see the cross. And on the other side, you've got the rose, right? Or is that just me? I mean, you can even find this on a Masonic history website, so they don't hide it. Oh, I went too far. Did I? I think I did. Of course I did. Rosicrucianism is a spiritual and cultural movement that arose in Europe in the early 17th century after the publication of several texts purported to announce the existence of a hitherto unknown esoteric order to the world and made seeking its knowledge attractive to many. An esoteric order to the world. Yeah. Like a new world order, if you like. Sound familiar? I bet it bloody does. Here you've got a book, Rosicrucian Kabbalah, The Kingdom of God. Albert Johann? I can't see the name fully. And of course you've got the one by Manly P. Hall. A Mason, if there ever was one. Rosicrucian and Masonic Origins. Yeah, but I thought it started in 1717. Don't be silly. Of course it didn't. As people go through these ranks, I'd imagine they become privy to more knowledge in regards to what the truth actually is and how it works and what things actually represent. Even the G. What does that represent in Freemasonry? People are unsure. Some people think it's geometry. Some people think it's God. In my opinion, I think it could represent a snake. We might get back to that in the future. But the other day, I don't know. Don't hold me to it at the moment. You're going to have to bear with me. But we're going to look at the G a bit more in the future. Not only the G, the sun. I've kind of got a feeling the sun might be referenced to Lucifer. I could be wrong. We're going to get into that in the future. There's a few things that, yeah, you'll kind of see why I'm pointing to that or feeling that. So we'll get into that in the future. I'm going to mention these guys as well. I mean, this is clearly the same cross, right? The cross at the end, the black one, you'll find if you search Nelson Mandela, Freemason, you'll find Mandela in a gown that is the exact same as that gown there that guy's wearing. The black one at the very end. There's different versions of these crosses, but it's the same. Much like these different branches, but it's all the same tree, right? These are, is it Titans? Titonians, I think they call them. We'll go with that. These guys first appear in ancient history in close connection with the word Cimbrians. The Cimbrians and Teutons were roaming about in Europe and sometimes fighting together against the Romans during the last couple of centuries before our Christian era. Both are generally described as West Germanic tribes. I thought I'd mention them guys as well from the, I think the 17th century. I could be wrong. But you can clearly see the cross, right? It's the same cross. Here's the Nicholas II of Russia. He's got the cross as well. Where did he get that cross? The Queen? There's a family, I can never say their name. This family in the 18th and 19th century in Russia, they controlled the trade. They ran the show. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Back Russian, we'll go with that, right? And I mean, that guy at the top, Alexei, he's got the cross as well. He was a merchant, a bit of a celebrity. There's his brother at the bottom, or another relation. Look what the guy's doing. It's a Masonic pose, right? It's the hidden hand. We've touched on this before. Even the guy Stalin had it. One hand's in his jacket, the other's in his pocket. Who else poses with his hand in his pocket today? Wee Billy Gates, wee Billy Rockefeller. In terms of that family, they were that big in Russia. They've got their own museum in Moscow. Look at the big glass window. It's the cross again. An even more Masonic cross with another cross at the back. You couldn't get any more Masonic than that. You really couldn't. Even the pose by the guy at the top, Alexei, that's a Masonic pose. I was meant to have the Masonic slides to show you, but I can tell you right now they are. I've not got them at hand, but they are Masonic poses, and it's not by accident, especially not the chubby guy at the bottom. Come on. And they ran the show in terms of Russian trade. And in my opinion, we're clearly Freemasons. Now, who's this guy here? Of course, it's Zelensky. What is he? An actor? A politician? A soldier? He's certainly an actor. That is for sure. But what has he got on his fucking chest? It's the cross again. Shock horror, right? This is lately as well. And an interesting one with this is that you can find images where he's not got it. Either it's a different day, but the same t-shirt, but it's not got the logo. But on this one, he has, and this is from Reuters, as you can see at the bottom. But I mean, it's clearly the Knights Templar cross. Clear as day. I don't think you could get any clearer than that. And that's the Ukrainian logo that I was referring to. As Masonic as they come. Yeah, without a doubt. We will get into that in the future as well. Do we know what this is? Let me see. What am I doing? I'm trying to find the chat. Can't find it now. One of these days I'm going to get it right. Surely, right? Oh, man. There we go. So, yeah. This is indeed the Russian logo, the Russian crest. Now, I don't know about you, my eyesight's it's never been the best, to be honest. But this is clearly a knight or some form of warrior or soldier on horseback. And from what I can gather, he's not killing another human being. It's a reptilian that he's killing or has killed. Now, what is that trying to tell you? I'm unsure. But it's a knight killing a reptilian. You could maybe say a dragon. In this one, it looks a wee bit like a dragon. But in other ones that I've seen that are actually on top of buildings and have been since they were built, I suppose, in Moscow. It's clearly not a dragon, but a reptilian. Here's it in full. And I mean, I don't think you can get any more Masonic than that. Is it just me? Maybe it's just me. But the knight and the reptilian to one side, you've got the double eagle, you've got the crown in the middle, you've got the mast in one hand, and then the ball with the cross in the other, claw even. And I mean that, if you combine them, that's the mast that we've seen Zelensky holding. It's the one that we seen King Solomon holding in the painting in the Masonic temple. It's maybe even the one that we seen back in the Anunnaku picture. I would go back, but it would take me all day. It really would, to go through these slides. But I think you'll know what I'm getting at. Yeah. I genuinely don't think that a logo could be more Masonic than that. And that's without even mentioning the hammer and the sickle logo, which is certainly Masonic. I mean, come on, the hammer. The artist who made it is shrouded in mystery. His family were merchants. He created it when he was 33. Yeah. And this is indeed the Scottish Rite logo, the double-headed eagle. Of course, the purple, right? Like the Phoenicians who loved their purple. Only they knew how to make purple clothing or purple cloth. Excuse me. So I mean, it's practically a carbon copy, right? There's a lot of double-headed eagle logos on the go. But I mean, come on. It's the exact same. Here's the Supreme Council logo again. Pretty much a carbon copy. If you get a Russian Masonic logo and fade it in with the actual Russian crest, it is practically the exact same. That's what I've done here in this image. In the Russian crest, I used a Masonic Russian logo. I think it's from the a lodge in Moscow. But what I've joined it up with is actually the crest from here. Now, what does this look a bit like? Looks like a temple, right? I mean, that's what it looks like to me. And of course, yeah, you've got the pillars at the door. Of course, you've got the pillars. On the gate, you've got, on each gate, 3 crests in a ring. Which is kind of 33, right? 3 on each side. Then you've got the golden eagle at the very top of the gate. Now, this is seemingly not a temple. Does anyone know what it is? Does anyone know? Let me check in the chat. I don't think. I think people will know, to be fair. They claim it's not a temple, but it looks very temple-ish, right? Is that a word? Temple-ish? I think I've made it up. This is Putin's palace. Who'd have thought it, right? Putin, who hates the Masons. Yeah. It certainly looks like a Masonic temple, Justine. But it's seemingly Putin's palace. Well, it is Putin's palace. That's what I lined up the Russian Masonic logo with. The golden eagle on Putin's gate. And it's practically a carbon copy. I mean, it's the same, right? It's practically the same. And this is Putin's palace. Seemingly he was a bit upset that people took a tour of it. Seemingly. There you go. So, of course, you've got the pillars, right? You couldn't go wrong with them. But inside, he's got a theatre, like I mentioned at the very start. It's all very fitting. You can imagine Putin and his buddies all fucking acting in drag. Oh, man, let's not go there, right? Oh, no. What have I done? Is there ways to erase memories from your mind? I bet there probably is. Oh, Jesus. It's probably been done to me. That's my excuse for my bad memory. The fucking MI6 zapped it. I think it's in that movie Men in Black, right? Where they've got a pen that zaps your brain. And then you can't remember anything. Yeah. So let me see. This is Putin's palace. This is his theatre. Yeah, loves the theatre, Putin. By the looks of it. All very Masonic looking as well, I must add. The carpet. The design. Yeah. This is again from Putin's palace. And what have you got on the floor? This is where it's like a bar where he takes his guests. Of course, you've got the cross again, right? Undeniable. I guess coincidence. Can we go with that? Like I mentioned before, these different groups, different branches of Masonic orders, they're all part of the same trunk, working for the same roots, even if they get in each other's way. It doesn't matter. They'll still be working for the same trunk. It's all connected. Now, before I get into the Winter Olympics, because we've got them to get into as well, what was the clip I wanted to show you? Was it the Red Dawn clip? It's a Bill Cooper clip, and then it's Red Dawn. And then, as my cat breaks in, and then we're going to look at the Olympic Games, right? Kind of got ahead of myself a wee bit there. So, let's jump off of the slides for the time being, if I can manage it. Let me quickly say hello. Kabbalah Tree, yeah. Justine, bung on the money. Our good friend Justine, great to have you tonight. Justine, fantastic. Socialism for the many, not the few. Yeah, socialism, right? Of course, it doesn't matter what ism or ideology or entity it is. They're going to use it as they see fit. It's as simple as that. Left wing, right wing, no wing. They'll use any sort of entity or movement as they see fit, right? I mean, look at history. So it doesn't matter what ism it is. back in my well and truly a sheep days, I kind of seen myself as a socialist, but I think maybe possibly I was more right wing, to be honest, because I didn't want government interference. I wanted the less government interference. So I probably would have been right wing, to be honest. Of course, the government want us all depended on them. Wing, wing, yeah. I'll give you a wing later on. Okie doke. Anyway, let me quickly say hello even. Paramod. Where are we? Cariel. There you go. Paramod. There we go. Shona. Mad Fox. Yeah. Budgie Burger in the hood. Have I missed anyone? I think I probably have, to be honest. A griffin, yeah, it looks a bit like a griffin as well. A dragon, yeah, that crossed my mind. I kind of thought, well, maybe it's not an eagle. It kind of has a tongue like a dragon. Let me quickly go back. That crossed my mind as well. It really did. Or is it to represent the Sphinx that we seen? I mean, if you look at the tongue, I think birds do have long tongues, but it's very dragonish. But it would appear, at least, to be a double-headed eagle, right? So what we're going to do now is jump to Bill Cooper once again. And this time Bill's talking about, I guess, Russia and the New World Order. It's about 3 minutes long, so not as long. We don't have long clips tonight, which is good, I suppose. I don't know. I suppose it's better for me if they're longer, because then I don't have to speak, which would be great, right? But we need a bit of context to stuff, and I can throw in my stupid opinion as well and say hello. Well, I can try and say hello, at least. Right. Remove. Zoom. Have I got the right one? Yeah, we're cooking. So, without further ado, here is the late Bill Cooper. And I can't remember what year. It should say. Hey, it's in the 90s anyway. I think 97 again. I could be wrong. Time will tell. So, here it goes. Bill Cooper on New World Order. And those pesky Russians, right?
And yet they are not really disarming in Russia, are they?
That's right. They are not disarming in Russia and in the old Eastern Bloc nations, because if everything else fails to bring about the New World Order, it will be the military might of the old Soviet bloc that will be used to enforce the edicts of the coming world socialist utopian dictatorship.
Well, do you agree that in our country there's hundreds of thousands, possibly foreign military-type people?
That I can't substantiate. I know that there are foreign military people here. I know that there are foreign immigrants here. That may be military people here just waiting until the time is right for them to take their place as military personnel. I do know that there is an unbelievable number in the hundreds of thousands of Soviet bloc equipment, tanks, trucks, artillery, missile launchers, decontamination vehicles, etc., have been brought into the United States and are in storage in strategic locations around the country. If you want to know what that is for, go watch the movie Red Dawn And that'll give you some idea.
Did you say Red Dawn?
Yes, that will give you some idea of what will happen if they are unable to bring about their new world order by peaceable means.
Well, thank you for being there.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling. 520-333-4578. Now, for people who haven't investigated any of this or done any of the research, some of this sounds off the wall, but it's not. And I urge you not to believe anything that I say. In fact, my constant admonition to my radio audience is to listen to everyone, read everything, believe absolutely no one unless you can verify it in your own research, and none of it is hard to do. Good evening, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hello. So, there you go. We cut the lady short. But yeah, another interesting clip from 1997 from Bill Cooper. And it's funny because we kind of mentioned something similar before, where we thought, are they going to use Russia and World War III to roll out the complete new world order? It looks like Bill might have been thinking along them lines even in 97, talking about Russian tanks being stored and having evidence to that. Quite interesting, that. Are they going to pop out? Are these tanks going to pop out of the garages very soon? Oh man, look out for it, right? Over in America. What would you call that? Dead man fused, I think is the term. Where you've got cells of agents in enemy territory. Then you awaken them when the time's right. And they protect and re-establish the Soviet Union. Of course, the Soviet Union never ended, right? More deception. Yeah, they got rid of the Soviet Union, did they? Yeah, they got rid of the Knights Templar, did they? Yeah, they got rid of the Finnish, did they? Yeah. So that was Bill. And of course, he mentioned there the Red Dawn movie from 1984, where America gets invaded by, you guessed it, those pesky Russians. And I've got a clip, I think two. So I think the first one is the trailer. I had to kind of edit it in a certain way to avoid copyright, of course, right? Where there is a will, there is a way. So I'm told. So before I burp, here is the trailer for Red Dawn. I almost said New Dawn, which is interesting. Red Dawn has let me know in the chat if you've watched it. I actually seen it the other night. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of these kind of movies, but it was actually not bad. To be honest, I guess my expectation was that low. I felt that it wasn't too bad. It's got Patrick Swayze, not that I'm a fan of him. Charlie Sheen, not that I'm a fan of him. But yeah, all the usual suspects, I guess. So here is the trailer.
What's going on here, my friend?
emergency broadcast system. We are under attack by conventional forces of the Russian army. It is believed the lead waves were disguised as commercial charter flights. Communications have broken down with other parts of the country. Large areas of the Midwest may have been overrun.
They know who all of you are. They're looking for you.
You're 40 miles behind enemy lines.
I just want to go home. They took a lot of people away.
Where's my dad, Mr. Eckert?
When I've loved somebody, Andy, I'm gonna die before it happens.
George! They're gonna kill us! All of us!
So why should we be different?
Because we live here!
Not bad for a bunch of kids, huh? Mama'd be real proud.
So, that was the trailer to The Red Dawn, 1984. They actually made a remake in 2012. And from what I can gather, I've not watched the remake, but it looks terrible. It looks so bad. And in the remake, interestingly enough, they decided that it wouldn't be the Russians, it would be the Chinese. But then they changed their mind basically at the very end, because China, seemingly they weren't happy that they were being used as the bad guy. That's what they said. So in the end, they went with Scotland. No, I'm joking. They went with North Korea. It may as well have been Scotland, right? So in the remake, I think from 2012, it's not the it's not the Russians or the Chinese. It's North Korea. And again, we're at a point where we're here in a situation where we're talking about remakes of movies that they regurgitate. What is it they say? A red flag in conditioning and programming is repetition. Repeat, repeat, repeat. I mean, apart from it being a different enemy, it's pretty much the same storyline from what I can see. And again, I think the guy's dad gets killed. I think in both movies that happens. Spoiler alert, right? So I want to touch on as well. We're going to look at Wolverines in a sec. I think I'll show you the second clip from the movie Red Dawn. I see my good friend Anthony, Tony Soprano, is asking about the movie. I had to rent it on Amazon Prime. I think it was about £3, £3.50 to rent on Amazon. So I don't know if you've got Amazon. I don't think it's on Netflix, so you might have to rent it. But it was quite good. I don't think it's on YouTube, but it was all right. It's worth watching, I guess. At least to see what we're talking about or what Bill Cooper was referring to. To be honest, if I never heard Bill mention that film, I would not even have known that it existed. I'd never even heard of it. So there you go. And it's quite interesting. There's a lot of different numbers in it that we might get into in the future. We've got a certain number to get into today, but the word Wolverine or Wolverines as well, we're going to have a look at that. So let me now play, just to give you a sort of context of the movie, the second clip. So here it goes.
West Coast. East Coast. Down here's Mexico. First wave of the attack came in disguised as commercial charter flights, same way they did in Afghanistan in '80. Only they were crack airborne outfits. They took these passes in the Rockies.
So that's what hit Calumet.
I guess so. They coordinated with selective nuke strikes, and the missiles were a hell of a lot more accurate than we thought. They took out the silos here in the Dakotas, key points of communication.
Like what?
Oh, like Omaha, Washington, Kansas City.
Gone?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
that's right. Filtrators came up illegal from Mexico. Cubans, mostly. They managed to infiltrate SAC bases in the Midwest, several down in Texas, and wreaked a hell of a lot of havoc. I'm here to tell you. They opened up the door down here, and the whole Cuban and Nicaraguan armies come walking right through, roll right up here through the Great Plains.
How far did they get?
Cheyenne, across to Kansas. We held them at the Rockies and at the Mississippi. Anyway, the Russians reinforced with 60 divisions. Sent 3 whole army groups across the Bering Strait into Alaska, cut the pipeline, came across Canada, to link up here in the middle, but we stopped their butt cold. Lines have pretty much stabilized now.
What about Europe?
I guess they figured twice in 1 century was enough. They're sitting this one out. All except England. They won't last very long. The Russians need to take us in one piece, and that's why they're here now. That's why they won't use nukes anymore, and we won't either, not on our own soil. The whole damn thing's pretty conventional now. Who knows, maybe next week will be swords.
What started it?
I don't know, 2 toughest kids on the block, I guess. Sooner or later, they're gonna fight.
That's simple.
Maybe somebody just forgot what it was like.
Well, who is on our side?
600 million screaming Chinamen.
Well, last I heard, there were 1 billion screaming Chinamen.
There were.
So, there you go. That's another clip from the movie. Now, in that film, I noticed there's when the Russians invade the wee town that they've got, they're rounding everyone up, and you comply with the new Soviet order, or you get lined up and you get shot. That's what they were doing. But what they had was they had these prisoner camps, prisons basically. And what did they call them? Re-education camps. That's what they called them. Re-education camp. Yeah. Kind of sounds familiar, that, does it? A re-education camp. Yeah. So that's the movie. Red Dawn. Have I got another clip, actually? No, I don't think I have. Or have I? I think that's it in terms of the movie. I don't want to give away too much. You'll find it on Amazon Prime. Like I said, I don't think that you'll get it on Netflix. But in short, Russia invades America. And I won't tell you what happens at the end, because I'll ruin it, right? So let's jump back for the time being to the slideshow. I am still here. Just. Thank you to everyone for jumping in tonight. Much appreciated, right? It's a long one. We've went 2 hours 21 minutes. Yikes, right? We've still got a bit to go. Where are we going now? I think we're going to the Winter Olympics. I don't know if you can get any more Masonic than the Olympics, to be honest. It is riddled to its absolute core in Masonicness, put it that way, and Illuminati-ness in terms of its rituals, or as they call them, ceremonies. So, it was in Beijing, the Beijing Winter Olympics, all very fancy, right? This is from the opening ceremony. They're all walking out. Hello! Waving. I'm on the telly, mum. Waving to the crowd. The whole 10 of the people that went in a big massive stadium that's empty practically. They probably paid people to go, I would imagine. To be honest, I don't think you could pay me to go to these Olympic ceremonies. But what have we got? Straight off the bat, what do we have on the floor? Can anyone see it? You might not be able to see it, actually. But I mean, what they walked out on was basically a Masonic chessboard, a Masonic walkway. That's the only way I can describe it. You couldn't have got a floor that was any more Masonic. It was like the floor of Solomon's temple. And of course it had the cross, right? It's almost like a cross with a cross in a rose. All very fitting. Of course, that would be a coincidence. If you believe in coincidence, that is. Wow, we've had lots of comments. I never realised how many we had. I've not checked in a bit. I'm very grateful to everyone for the comments. Now, before I have a look at the comments, just to make sure we're all right, does this remind anyone of anything? Apart from a star, of course, right? Apart from the obvious star. Remember at the very start of this, we started with the star on the floor of the entrance to the Masonic Temple in England, the Grand Lodge. Yeah, here we are at another star. But it reminded me instantly as soon as I seen this. It reminded me of something. Now, I'm kind of wondering if it's only me. Is it only me that's thinking this? I'm unsure. Yeah, a snowflake, yeah, but a virus, yeah, well, maybe actually, yeah. Convid. It could be Convid, right? I was thinking more of an instrument that's been in the news quite a lot lately. Or recent. I don't know if that's going to help anybody. Cartoon, yeah. I think it's only me. It's Disease X, yeah. We might get into Disease X again. We've touched on that. I think it was about 2 years ago. The documents that talked about Disease X. Because we asked the question, is it the Convid? I don't think they've rolled it out yet. The Disease X. Is that the next one? Is it going to be a bio war that we enter? Are we going to be dragged down that road? A bio, World War III, electrical, EMPs, weather, warfare even? Like we keep saying, people need to start getting prepped. Only you know what you're going to need to survive if shit hits the fan, i.e. no electric, no energy. No shop to get your groceries, no shop to get your food, no shop to get your messages, no shop to get your tobacco, no shop to get your alcohol. whatever it may be that floats your boat. Medication-wise, if you're dependent on medication, it might be a good idea to keep a... I mean, in my own personal opinion, it's a good idea to keep a weak supply anyway. Backup for any medication that you might need regular. Hopefully you don't. But my eldest son, he's diabetic, and we tend to keep... we try and keep as much as we can, put it that way. It can be quite tough. You've got to try, but we've got to be prepared. Hey, worst case scenario, you're going to be prepped for when trouble comes. But if you're prepped and it doesn't come, then all good, right? But I think it's a good idea to at least keep things in the back of your mind for the time being. Carry on with your life. Continue with your life. But be prepared for an effect that could come about due to an orchestrated World War III. Maybe not as extreme as bombs being dropped on your head, but rationing. I think if they bring out the rationing, that could then see the implementation of a ID. It's not going to be a fucking bit of paper, that's for sure. It might start off as a bit of paper, but it's the stepping stone to the implant that documents all. Medical records, bank account, details, you name it. We're heading down that road, and like Bill Cooper said, I mean, what Bill said was, if all else fails, they could use Russia to roll out the New World Order. That could be the fucking plan anyway. Never mind if all else fails. Because let's face it, they could roll out anything they want at any time they want. We've seen that. We just seen it. We're currently still living through it. Anyway, a wee bit sidetracked there. It's going to be a long one tonight. To be honest, I don't think we're that far away. So, we're almost there. You've made it. Just. Oh, man. When I do a long live stream, I don't know what it is. I can never get to sleep after it. Oh, so tonight my head is going to be like chaos, put it that way. All very fitting, right? What it reminded me of, it clearly never reminded anyone else of, which is quite funny, right? It shows you how, disconnected I am with everyone else. But instantly when I seen this is from the closing ceremony of the Winter Olympics, which was only not that long ago. The first thing that sprung to my mind was this. The James Webb Telescope. Now, maybe you can see why, but it's the first thing that sprung to my mind is, wait a minute, that looks a bit like the James Webb Telescope. You maybe can't see the design as great as I would like you to in the middle, but it's like the honeycomb. So I thought there was a lot of similarity with it. I thought, fuck, that looks a bit like the bloody James Webb Telescope. I thought, surely they're not going to show us the Earth and the moon, right? Well, yeah, they did. They went out. What they did was they had like a dome Earth. I guess a globe Earth. No, sorry, like a flat Earth. Not the full globe. Certainly not the full globe. It had a dome Earth with a simulation of the sun. Sorry, the moon. I'm looking right at it and I got it wrong. So it had this star flying around, floating about, the James Webb star. Then you had the dome Earth at the bottom. Then you had the moon simulation floating at the top. And I thought, Jesus. What is this about, right? Then the star comes down into the middle and it forms into this big, huge, bright star. And I couldn't help but think about the bright star that we seen at the very start, which is in the the Masonic Lodge. It looked a bit like that. This is just a clip of it. And then a big shooting beam up the middle, which, as Paramod pointed out, kind of like an alien invasion. That crossed my mind as well. But certainly the Masonic Star, the James Webb Telescope. And when I seen the moon, I kind of thought, yeah, it's a bit funny that. And it didn't end there. Yeah, there's more. At the end, they had a fireworks display. Has anyone actually watched this ceremony? I hope not. Surely not, right? Only I am stupid enough to suffer such a thing. I had to skip through quite a lot of it. It was about 2 hours long, and I thought, nope, I'm not sitting watching this for 2 hours. I've got things to do, but not that. So I kind of, what would be the phrase? Proofread it? That's probably not the right phrase. I glanced through it, right? I skipped through it. We'll go with that. And at the very end, they had a fireworks display. Yeah. And as you can see, there was the Olympic rings. Of course, the Olympic rings, right? But wait and you see the next one. One world. That's what it created. That's the 2 words that the fireworks created. One world in big writing in the sky. And it never ended there. The next one said, one family in big letters in the sky. You'd think I was making it up, but I'm not. You can go and check it out. It's on YouTube. Clear as day. And I mean, it's pretty clear where it's all heading. They want to eventually roll out a one world order, a one world government. And the icing on the cake, I kid you not, I am not making this up. At the very end, what did they all sing? Yep, you guessed it. The Masonic Auld Lang Syne. With a big rose in the middle. Yeah. Auld Lang Syne. Of course, we touched on Auld Lang Syne last week in the new War Order Part 1. It's a Masonic giveaway. There's not a clearer Masonic giveaway than Auld Lang Syne. But there you go. It was being sung. This is a photo from quite recent. We've got Putin. Oh man, that is big table with Macron, if that's how you say it. So Putin and Macron. And what does that room look like? Talk about Masonic looking, right? Temple looking, even. Yeah, I don't think I've got a slide of it, but there's on the floor of this room that they're in, there's an all-seeing eye. I shit you not. It's a fucking all-seeing eye, clear as day. I wish I had I have got the slide, but it's not here. So we might cover that again next time. But yeah, talk about keeping your distance. There you go. This is very recent. And yeah, you've got the arch. I guess arches, the pillars in the room. And like I said, that there is an all-seeing eye on the floor. It's pretty clear. Now, this photo here, it came out very recent as well. It got passed about quite a bit. Seemingly, it's a recent photo of Putin discussing war tactics, I guess, as you do, right? But the number 38. Of course, that's not 33. But what about 38? Anyone got much on that? Yeah. Let's now jump to the gematria calculator. I don't often do this, but this one stuck out. I'm unsure as to why. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to have a look. I'm going to have a look at that one. So, if I can work it, what we're going to do, hopefully, is screen share. Right? And of course, yeah, Justine, 8 is basically 2 threes, right? That was one of the first things that crossed my mind. It's a bit like 3, 3, 3. But it is clearly a 38. There's actually 2. Where is it? Why is it? Oh, there it goes. You couldn't make it any more clearer, I guess. So, I mean, out of interest, everyone knows I'm not an expert on anything, especially not gematria or anything like that. And to be honest, when it comes to numbers, I don't go there. I'm bad enough with words. Never mind numbers, right? Honestly, I'm hopeless. I really am. Anyway, what I did is I went to the gematria calculator. Let me see if I can get rid of this. There we go. So I went over there, right? And for some reason I thought, right, put in 38, but write it. Don't put it as a number. So I wrote it in the gematria calculator. And going by this, 38 in Jewish gematria equals 826. Now, I mean, that means nothing really to me. But if you look at 826 and what comes up for that, yikes, is all I'm going to say. The very first one, 826 in Jewish, pay for your sins, is 826. Ray God on earth, Holy Spirit, loving, raving. I'm going to pick out selected. Nuclear bomb at football game. Nuclear bomb at football game. 826. Now, what I do know in regards to football games is that Russia was due to hold the Champions League final in Russia this year on May the 28th. But they've took it away from Russia. It's one of their sanctions, right? The good old West. So it's going to be somewhere else. And I mean, I don't know. I don't want to make any radical predictions, but it's all very strange that. Maybe it's just me. Nuclear bomb at football game. Believer, Holy Spirit, soul family, stimulus package, order of the Illuminati. 141. Thou shalt not kill. Look for the numbers. There's another one. Occult Grand Master. 826. Yeah. Kind of strange, right? Volcanic. 826. Is it just me that finds it a bit strange that's what ended up coming up when I looked into it? Even though, and bearing in mind that I very ever rarely look into anything that has to do with numbers or gematry. Epistemology. Epistemology? Gematry Playbook. AstraZeneca. You'd think I was fucking making this up, right? You really would. I mean, it's all rather strange, in my opinion. I mean, I'm unsure what to make of it, but it's quite strange, right? Smart money. It is time, my child. I am the king of myself, Almighty God's bride. John Cleese. Wow, that is so weird. Don't mention the war. Mega Tsunami La Palmas. Wow, that is fucking weird. That one kind of gave me the shivers. I should put this away, right? 826 again. Wow. Yeah, I think I should maybe just stop, to be honest. Is it just me that finds that really strange? I mean, it goes on and on as well. But some of them, it's like, wow, that is so strange. And all these equate to 826, which is the Jewish gematria equation for 38 written. Yeah. The rapture has come. Yeah. It's pretty crazy, right? Is it? I don't know. Is it just me? Is it just me that finds that rather strange? Yeah. Probably is, to be honest. But there you go. That was what I got when I put in 38. Now, I mentioned the Wolverines. I put that in as well. I can't remember. I can't even remember what I got. There was another number that I put in, but I was unsure if it was the right number or not from the movie Red Dawn, because I was kind of falling asleep. So I left it out because I might have got it wrong. So we've got Wolverines, but I can't even remember. What did we get? Jewish gematria equals 1899. So what are some of the 1899s that we have? Moving, the very first one, through this cosmic shift. Yeah. Interesting that, right? Oh, bugger, what have I done? Went too far. Is that a Russian word? I'm unsure if it's... I mean, it must be a word, right? The second one. The name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. All tormentors are getting erased out of creation. November 11th, 1981. Brandy Buffington. An organized crime dynasty. Adolf Hitler homeless 1 year, 6 months. That is so weird. A Zuckerberg caused Myra be insane. What the hell? Oh man, 1899. The Alpha and Omega mark Alan King. The final code to break Christ's second coming is What, 1899? Show yourself. A win-win. Haha, yes, see what that does. There shall be no mercy for tyrants. 11 words. To whom it may concern. Pelosi, Clinton, Rockefeller, Epstein, Trump connection. 1899. This is from the word Wolverines. That is so weird. This is why I tend not to look into this stuff, because it confuses me and it's all really strange, right? I will kill you, Satan. Love is overrated. The number 3 does not equal production. Mystery Babylon, mother of harlots. The 3 unforgivable curses. Yikes. Nosy Kabbalist wannabes. 1899. Oh man. A Kabbalist wannabe? Jesus, they must be the saddest people going, right? Illuminati are hidden in the shadows. 1899. This will help you. Yeah, I think we'll leave that one as well. Very strange, that. So, well, I think next week as well, we'll again come back to this, and I can make sure I've got the right number. Because from that one, it was again, wow, it was pretty strange, to be honest. Very strange. And where is Putin? There he goes. Is he? Ta-da! Putin. Is he putting it on, or is he putting it off? I think a lot of the media are trying to say that Putin's lost it now. So you can see where they're kind of taking it. They're gonna be saying, "Look, we need to take him out. We need to do something about Putin." I think they're saying now that he bombed a school. He probably didn't, in my opinion, but the media, they're going to run with it. They're going to push it. I'm already seeing statuses from sheep on Facebook saying, "Look, this guy needs stopped. What he's doing is terrible. I feel so sad. The poor children." And I keep saying to people that I've got time for, I'll just say to them, "Look, you've got to switch it off, right? Don't watch it." I know it sounds a bit harsh, but we've really got to think about looking after each other locally as a community. We can't save the world. We can save our communities, but we can't save the world, right? So we're better to put our focus than on the community that we're in, helping each other. Keep the TV off. Don't watch it. Have I got anything else? I think I was going to look at 531. We might get into that next time. The Jamari's too mind-blowing for me. It really is. It's like, wow, you could not make it up. So that's from the film Red Dawn, that slide. The Russians stopping at McDonald's, right? Quite funny, actually, because there's a big hoo-ha about McDonald's at the moment. People are unhappy because McDonald's are still feeding the Russians. How dare they? Oh man, it's so comical. People don't get it. They really don't. The only people that we're hurting is ourselves. When are people ever going to get it? I don't know. I won't be holding my breath, to be honest. Was that the last slide? It looks like it was. So, yeah, quite an interesting one, I guess. A long one, nearly 3 hours long. I wish I kind of knew a way to break that down and to make it smaller, bite size. A 3-minute video. There you go. Easier said than done, right? Takes a bit of doing, to be honest. But we get there, and we've got there tonight. Albeit the crack of morning now. Saturday morning. I got a nice message on Telegram from someone from New Zealand. I think they might be possibly listening at the moment. If so, good afternoon to you, my friend, and thank you for your kind message. And I feel for you if you've spent the past 2 weeks binging on my channel. Yikes. Oh man, that would have took 5 years off your life. Physically and mentally. Don't do it. Do it in doses, right? Anyway, I appreciate everyone's time. I really do. Good to see Lorna back again. Lorna Davis and Frank, the information tank. Thank you kindly for all the crazy emails. Wow, that one about the eggs hatching, right? Have people seen that? I think it's about the juice. Oh man, it gave me the creeps. It really did. It freaked me out. It kind of makes my skin crawl. Thinking about these wee eggs hatching in people's in people's bodies even. Yikes, right? Ooh, gives me the heebie-jeebies. Do we know what the heebie-jeebies are? If not, that's your homework, right? So yeah, good to have Frank. What was the other video? I think Frank mentioned in an email about the Rosicrucians as well. It's all connected, right? I think the people that run the show then, they run the show now. Maybe not the same people, but I fucking wouldn't rule that out. But the same entities, the same bloodline, the same cloth, if you like. So thank you very much to Frank for the comments and the emails as well. The truth lady. It's nice to know that there are people out there who aren't so easily duped. Yeah. Yeah, because there is, unfortunately. I mean, this is what I've been saying as well to people. Don't underestimate stupidity. And that's coming from me. What does that tell you? Cariel, yeah, it's a bit strange. Very strange indeed. I mean, I'm not an expert on Gematria, far from it, but I think there's a few things, there's a few numbers in that film that maybe someone who is good at Gematria might want to look into. I mean, the one in regards to the football game, that kind of blew my mind, to be honest. I mean, I hope it doesn't mean anything, I really do. But I thought rather funny because Russia got the football game taken away. Now it's going to be played somewhere else. I mean, if Russia were to bomb the Champions League final, I'm pretty sure there would be, wow, that would shake the world to its absolute core. And I guess probably trigger a world war. I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, it says it in the numbers, so I don't know, right? I've not just made that up. But hey, I wouldn't rule anything out. I really wouldn't. Justine in the hood. An absolute pleasure to have Justine. It really is. And great comments from Justine. And thank you for sorting out the bot. Jesus. We got attacked by a spam bot. Nightmare. But good old Justine. Put him in jail. Good stuff. Thank you very much, Justine. Ian in the hood. Ian Tuff. My brother from the last Jacobites. Check it out on Facebook if not already. Red Dawn was Cubans backed by Russians. Yeah, that's right. Because the first thing that my son asked was, why are they speaking Spanish? I thought they were Russian. But seemingly what they done in the movie is Russia used the Cuban army and other South American armies and invaded America. So you might want to look out for the pesky Cubans. The Cuban army, right? There you go. Ian Tuff, my good brother Ian. Great to have you in the hood tonight. Much appreciated. A great show the other night that Ian done. He always does a great show. Ian is like a history book Not full of lies, but just full of so much knowledge in terms of what's happened in the past. He's like someone said a wise owl. I think, yeah, a wee bit like that. He's been around the block, so he knows quite a bit, to be fair. So I've got a lot of time for Ian. Good to have him back again. The last time I had Ian on, we got a strike. So it shows you too much truth, right? We got a strike, so yeah. Good to have Ian in the hood and the truth lady. Yeah, it can be. Yeah, I understand what you mean. You kind of feel for them a wee bit, but with that being said, if these people are ignorant to what's going on, they probably don't have to worry about it, right? Ignorance is bliss. It's us that worry. It's us that see it for what it is. So don't worry about them. Just try and wake them up. That's the best advice I can give, which is it's no easy feat trying to bring someone to, if you like, excuse me. Bry in the hood as well. Good to have Bry. Cariel, Lorna, Justine, Ian in the hood. Let me quickly say cheerio. We've nearly went 3 hours. Oh man. I think we've had quite a good one though. We've covered quite a lot. To be honest, there was more. There was a lot more. But what I'm going to have to do is put it into the next time. I think next time round we're going to look a bit more at Zelensky and the Ukraine and the origins and a bit more at what's happening today, because it doesn't appear to be going away. If only, right? The convid's fucked off, but everything else is all about war now. And climate change, of course, right? Don't forget the climate change. Yeah, great to have Ian in the hood. A snake eating its tail. That could be the G. I would assume that's what Justine might be getting at. That crossed my mind as well. It has been represented as that. I'm unsure. We will, of course, get back into them in the future. Thank you, Carmel, for being with us tonight as well. Great stuff. I think Carmel was first in the hood and still here. So someone needs to get her a medal, right? Metaverse is infinity sign. Is it? Huh. I never knew that. I didn't know it had a logo. I guess it would have, right? Going by how these fucking entities work. Yeah, I'll check that out. Thank you very much. Justine, not just me. Well, that's all right then. You can be freaked out with me, right? Good stuff. The table has 6 pillars. I've noticed they tend to have 6 or 4. A lot of them you'll see 2. I think 2 is mainly at the entrance of the temple, but you will see them either in 2s or 4s or 6s, depending on the design, I guess. But in my honest opinion, the pillars are a dead giveaway, as much as the G or the compass or the right angle or the trowel or the Masonic checkboard. You know what they say about signs and symbols, right? It rules the world. It really does. Shapes, signs, symbols, words, sounds, colours. That's another thing that we're going to get into next time. In regards to shapes, how they affect your mind, how colours affect your mind. I was gonna put it in this one. I thought, fucking hell, it's too much. It's too much for me to get into in one go. Way too much, because it's quite complicated. Complicated for me, that is. The same spirit crucified Christ at age 33. That is correct, as far as what they say. They say that Jesus got crucified at 33. Of course, Nothing to see there, right? Coincidence. Is Putin 38 in Gematria? If it is, that would be very interesting and rather fitting, to be fair. The Gematria stuff it's crazy. It really is. People might want to look into it a wee bit more. But yeah, thank you very much to everyone tonight. I think I've got Ian Brown to go out on tonight. I think I might go and watch a movie. Has anyone got any recommendations? Not Red Dawn. Not the remake, anyway. Boxing fan. Meta means death in Hebrew. Huh. That is interesting, that. Boxing fan and costume painter. Good stuff. I enjoy the boxing myself. Costume painting, not so much. I don't think I've ever tried, so maybe I would like it, right? Although I'm terrible at painting, so probably not. I'd like it, but I'd be bad at it, if that makes any sense. Probably not. Yeah. What else have we got? I'll quickly say cheerio. Good to have Ian in the hood. Cariel. Did I miss anyone? I probably did. If I did, quickly put a comment and I'll grab it before I shoot off. I'm going to be back on possibly next week. I'm unsure. You know, what I'm really wanting to do is remake the video that I done on the Georgia Guidestones in regards to the guy that I think it is, Lawrence Spellman Rockefeller. But I need time. I need time to do that. So I might have to take a week or two off. Maybe not next week, but it's a video that I really feel that I need to get done. And there's a lot more that I need to add to it to back up the theory that I've got. I genuinely think that I've cracked it. I mean, it sounds crazy, but hey, I could be wrong. I certainly could be wrong. But I think I might have cracked it. I honestly think I did. And similar to with David Rockefeller building the Twin Towers to take them down, it wasn't even David's idea. This stuff's been well planned in advance. I lost my place. Oh, I lost my place. There you go. It's been a long night. I completely lost my place there. I was doing so well. There you go. Ah, well, you can't win them all, right? Anyway, the Rockefellers, they're behind a lot. But in my own opinion, they're not the ones pulling the strings. Like I said at the very beginning, the devil's biggest trick or greatest trick was convincing people that he never existed. I think these entities that run the show, they do a similar thing. And then they'll use entities like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. The people who really run the show, I doubt we've even ever heard them mentioned. That's how deeply deceived we are. And we try and find the truth, but to be honest, it's all kind of guesswork, no matter what people might think. I don't think anyone knows the real truth about the world that we're in. If anyone does, let me know. Give me a shout. I guess the Masons will claim that they do. They hold the knowledge, right? So they say. We'll touch on them again. Yeah, that bot. Fucking hell. What a nightmare, right? I appreciate our good friend Justine sorting out the bot. Bloody bots. Honestly. Says the bot himself. He's a bot. He doesn't show his face. So what? So what if someone doesn't show their face? So bloody what, right? It means nothing. Honestly, it genuinely means nothing. I could not care less if someone showed their face or not. It makes no difference whatsoever to me. But there you go. Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, Wag the dog. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it. So that would probably, given the current situation, be worth a rewatch. If you've not watched Wag the Dog, then like Ian said, you've definitely got to check it out. I appreciate Ian jumping in tonight. Mad Fox as well. There you go. Random user. There you go. A random user. Classic. I love these weird names. I was meant to see if I missed anyone in the comment and I got carried away. Oh man, there you go. Good night. I said good night, I think, to what have I done? I don't know what I've done now. I've done something to the computer. Oh me. Honestly. There we go, I fixed it. But yeah, I'll quickly say cheerio and we'll play a quick tune on the way out. Random user, much appreciated for coming in tonight. And Cariel as well. A regular, good to have you back again. And yeah, we'll get into... Yeah, that's what I was talking about when I lost my place. The Georgia tombstones. I'll get it right one day. Good to have Ian back in the hood. Make sure you check out The Last Jacobites if you're on Facebook, of course. Justine, always an absolute pleasure to have Justine. I'm going to be back again on Sunday, the Truth Lady. If not Sunday, maybe Monday. But time will tell. Now that I've said that, it's going to be Tuesday, right? I should just keep my mouth shut. But I'm likely not going to be back until after or at the end of the weekend. So I really do hope that everyone has a good time. Like I always say, get out there, have fun. Go and see your friends and family. Don't be stuck indoors, right? Get out there. Do something useful. Don't be stuck in watching television. Whatever you do, do not do that. And make sure you do not comply, right? So, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you at either Sunday or Monday, right? Keep your guard up. And that is about it. Bye-bye.